How I'm doing, everyone? I'm about to jump on a plane to Baku, Azerbaijan. Of course, we've got a big fight there this weekend. Hill taking on Roundtree for a pivotal fight in the light heavyweight division. Anyway, today we're going to talk about a few things. Islam Makhachev says that he has only 3 fights left. His coach has said it. He said it. His mentor and longtime coach and friend Khabib Nurmagomedov walked off into the sunset with an undefeated record. And it's kind of what Dagestanis do. They don't stick around the sport too long. They make millions of dollars. That goes a long way in Dagestan. And then they walk off and they live their best life. They live on the farm, they feed the animals, they herd the goats, and they live in peace. So we're going to talk about that and who those 3 fights might be. Tom Aspinall has moved on from Jon Jones. That is correct. He's training for some other people. And we're going to talk about UFC Baku as well, because Jamal Hill cannot forget about Alex Pereira and he wants revenge. He's got his sights firmly set on him if he gets the belt back when he takes on Magomed Ankalaev in the rematch. That's a big if. But anyway, let's get into this first one. Islam Makhachev says that he doesn't want to stick around the sport too much longer. His coach Javier Mendez came out and said he's probably only got 3 more fights left in the division.
I'm anticipating we'll see him for hopefully another 3 fights total, you know.
He's almost 34 years old, so he's no spring chicken. He's been there, done it, got the t-shirt. He's defended the belt 4 times, more than anyone else in the history of the UFC. He's made millions of dollars along the way, and he's still relatively injury-free. I say that without knowing. Listen, the man's been a wrestler his entire life. He's been a fighter for a very, very long time, so no doubt he does have injuries, and of course you want to get away from the sport relatively clean. You don't want to live your life like me, in constant neck pain, hip pain, back pain, you name it, I've got it pain. Headaches, they all belong to the wife, and I caused them. But anyway, so Islam Makhachev is going to walk away, right? And fair play. 3 more fights? I mean, that would be sensational. If he can beat Jack Della Maddalena and become a 2-weight division champion, he might fight Ilia Topuria. But that's a big if against Jack. We've been through that in other videos. Not an easy matchup. Moving up to 170. Jack's naturally the bigger guy, and he just beat Belal Muhammad, okay? But let's just assume that he does. Who does he fight next? Does he defend the belt at 170? Does he go back down to 155 and call out Ilia Topuria? I'm sure Ilia Topuria would want that fight, and I'm sure Ilia Topuria would be happy to jump up to 170, okay? That means Ilia Topuria become a 3-weight division champion.
3-weight world champion. This is my goal.
And Islam would lose his mind because he'd be like, no, I'm the one that wants these opportunities. Islam wants to be a 3-weight division champ.
Yeah, I can be 3 division also.
His coach is talking about Dricus du Plessis, the South African champion at middleweight, which is absolutely insane. He said, I think Dricus du Plessis is another. I don't know. I don't really want to anticipate what could happen there because there's a lot of what ifs, you know, because obviously he's got to get through Jack. Islam's 34 years old. Dricus du Plessis is probably twice his size. He's absolutely gigantic. The man can wrestle, but hey, we dare to be great. But still, he's only got 3 more fights in the sport. Who's that going to be? It's going to be Jack Della Maddalena. It's got to be Ilia Topuria. That fight, if Ilia wins against Charles, has got to happen. Come on, we all want to see that. And who will be the 3rd one? Would it be a Dricus? Would it be a Paddy Pimblett? I doubt that one. He wants big, massive, blockbuster, superstar matchups. I tell you what, if Paddy Pimblett becomes the champion at 155, that might be on the table as well. So anyway, let me know in the comment section. But we're moving on. Tom Aspinall, the interim light heavyweight champion, the man that's held the interim strap longer than anyone else, almost as long as Jon Jones has been the heavyweight champ, he's moved on. Mentally, he is now training for Alexander Volkov or Jailton Almeida, right? I don't know what to make of this. You don't know what to make of this. Jon Jones living his best life, not being upfront about what his intentions are. Will he fight? Won't he fight? Listen, defend or vacate. Simple as that. And everyone's had enough of it.
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
I was going to say, Dana, my last thought on that. How long are you going to wait? I mean, how long is it worth waiting for?
I said a couple weeks.
Couple weeks?
Yeah, we'll have answers in the next couple weeks.
Even Alexander Volkanovski, who's one of the nicest guys in all the sport, he just came out and said, listen, I don't get it, mate. What's he bloody doing, right?
I've always been, if you're the champion, defend your belt. It's a responsibility.
You got to defend the belt or vacate. Simple as that. You can't just hang on to it for an elongated period of time and then just decide to fight whenever you want. No, you owe a duty to the fans, to the opponents, to the division. You owe it to yourself. And I tell you what, he doesn't want to give Tom a chance because he's worried about getting beaten, okay? Never mind that. Legacy's not like that. People will look at Jon Jones and say, yeah, he was a tremendous champion. And if he goes out there against Tom Aspinall, a new generation guy, and was to give it his best shot, and he was to lose, but he still had the balls to put it on the line, which, by the way, is what every single fighter does when they step in the octagon. We all take chances. We don't know. We aren't guaranteed to win these fights. But if he was to do that and he was to lose in a valiant effort, people would say, well, he's a bit older. Tom Aspinall came through, but look at the career that he had. Unbelievable. One of the greatest of all time, right? But if he avoids Tom Aspinall like the plague and he continues down this line, it will absolutely affect his legacy because, and I don't care what he's done in the past, because it doesn't embody the spirit of a fighter. Fighters are supposed to go in there against big, nasty, mean, tough son of a bitches, okay? And not knowing if they're going to win. That's what inspires people. I hate to talk about myself, but I lost many fights along the way. I lost number one contender matchups. Granted, a lot of them were on steroids.
All you motherfuckers are on steroids.
But I became the champion in the end. I never gave up on myself. And that's what people always tell me that they respect about my career, what they respect about other people's career, that they took on really tough fights. They tried their best and they scratched and clawed the way to the top. They did it in the end. And wow, take a bow. What a story. What a journey. For Jon Jones to walk away and go, oh, I don't fancy that. He's a bit nasty. He's got big hands. The man can wrestle. He's quick. He's fast. He's agile. Holy shit. I've never fought anyone like that. I'm living my best life, guys. I've made my money. I'm going to walk away. People will look at that and say, no, I'm sorry. That's not a real fighter. So he's got to accept the fight. And as I said, Tom Aspinall's moved on to Alexander Volkov, a man that he beat before, relatively easy, took him down nice and quick, straight armbar on the ground, absolute one-way traffic. And there's also Jailton Almeida. Now, Jailton Almeida, yes, he lost to Curtis Blades trying to take him down. He got elbowed in the head a few times, but he's learned from that. He's come back. He's got 2 quick wins, 2 stoppages. The man is a force of nature. He's an absolute wrestling maniac. He's short, he's stocky, he's strong as an ox. He's only got 1 loss on his record, and I think he would pose some problems for Tom Aspinall. Of course, Tom might take him down, but I think on the feet he's taller, he's longer, he's quicker, and he cracks very hard. So regardless, I would favour Tom in both of those matchups, but just the fact that he has mentally moved on, and we're waiting for this announcement. I mean, we don't know what it is yet, but we're waiting. Something's going to happen soon, but the fact that he's talking about other people, it doesn't bode well for that fight. Now, anyway, lastly, as I said, I'm jumping on a plane. I'm going to Baku, Azerbaijan in the main event. Khalil Rountree taking on Jamal Hill. Now, this is a great fight in the light heavyweight division. 2 really good strikers. I think Khalil is much more technical and he's training with a lot of great Thai boxers. The man is just improving all the time. Look at the fight that he had with Alex Pereira. Won the first couple of rounds and got finished later in the fight. But he had a lot of success and I feel like he's going to learn from that fight. He's been training in England, working with some of the best Thai boxing coaches on the planet.
I hate to bring it up, boys, but outside of Thailand, the UK has the best Thai boxing on the planet.
Hey, man,
no, that's true. That's fact.
Maybe I don't argue with you there. I mean,
no, thanks for bringing that up because that's absolutely true. That I back you.
The man's obsessed with being the best striker possible. He works really, really hard. He's very technical, but Jamal Hill probably hits harder. He's the bigger guy naturally, and of course, he's more of a slugger. I don't think he's nowhere near as technical as Khalil Rountree, but all he's got to do is connect once, and he will put you to sleep. Just ask any one of his opponents that he's knocked out, Johnny Walker, Thiago Santos, the list goes on. Now, Jamal Hill is still annoyed with how that fight went down with Alex Pereira, and he disagrees with the notion that he was actually knocked out.
This is number 1 bullshit.
He says, no, because I wasn't KO'd, okay? He said, I think my definition of a knockout is a lot different from your definition. Well, my definition, mate, is you got knocked out. But I think the actual definition of being knocked unconscious, like having to be woken up. Okay, granted, fair enough, call it a technical knockout, TKO. He said, but going to sleep, that never happened to me. The Pereira fight was just more like, honestly, that weird-ass moment when Herb Dean kind of stopped the fight and then let Alex continue. That was some weird shit. I get it. It was a little bit, but protect yourself at all times, guys. The Yuri fight, I thought I could go in there with some of the issues I was dealing with, and being a former champion, he added some things to his game, and that turned out to be very beneficial for him. It was, but still, you lost the fight. Now, Jamal's only been fighting the top of the food chain talent. We're talking Yuri Prochazka, Alex Pereira, Glover Teixeira. That's 3 champions on the bounce. Thiago Santos, Johnny Walker, Jimmy Crute, Paul Craig, right? So he's fought very, very good competition. But he feels like he's going to walk through Khalil Roundtree. I'm commentating the fight, so I can't give a prediction. I think it's more of the slugger, the brawler, the street fighter in Jamal Hill, which is a great mindset and spirit and skills to have. I'm telling you, well-rounded with a bit of jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that against a very high-level striker and Thai boxer in Khalil Roundtree. Let me know who wins that fight. I've got to get to the airport. I'm going to Baku, Azerbaijan. Let me know if you've been to any. And where do I go? I've got one day to myself. I hear the old town is nice. I'm going to have a walk around. I'm going to check it out. I'll do some videos as well. But anyway, let me know what you think about all that stuff that I said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. I really do have to go because I'm going to miss my plane. Take care.